Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining. This is a momentous day because, maybe not. We are going live. I was hoping to go live on both YouTube and Facebook here, but it looks like we have a problem on YouTube. So, thank you, everybody, for joining. Today, we are going to talk about finding your why in this situation. What do I mean by that? I'll tell you a story. When I was a kid, I think I was probably 6 years old, I got the original Nintendo for Christmas and the original Super Mario Brothers, which was so exciting. I was super excited to have that. And I loved that game. I played Mario all the time. And always at the end of every level, you finished it by jumping up to a flagpole and going into a little castle. And that's how you would finish every level of the original Mario Brothers. Well, me being who I am, right? Someone doesn't always play by the rules, always looking for ways around it. I found a bug in the game that would allow me to jump up and over the castle at the end of the level. So that where you would normally have to go to finish it, I could jump up and over it and see what is beyond the castle. Like I was always wondering what's beyond the castle, right? So I figured that out one day and I did it. And what is beyond the castle? Well, this game, it's an 8-bit Nintendo game created in the 80s. They didn't program anything. It is just endless nothing. You just run and run and run and run forever. And the only way out of that situation is to let the timer run out and then you die so that you can start the level over again. And then realize like just this endless nothingness is at the end, right? Just waiting for the time to run out so that you die. When I switched my careers, I've talked before about I was in the movie business. I was a marketing executive, and I left that when the Great Recession hit because I wanted to help people. I wanted to help people create their own business. I wanted people to have a place to go when all the jobs disappeared, kind of like what we're seeing now, right? But as soon as I made that shift, I realized how much my life was built around the support networks that I had with the entertainment industry, with friends that I'd had in the business, what have you, like how intertwined my whole life was. And as soon as that was gone, that I felt like I didn't have anything left. I realized this incredible emptiness that I was feeling, that my routine was gone, that my support network was gone, that basically the rules were gone. Everything that I had used to structure my life was gone. And I felt like Mario running endlessly into nothing, waiting for the clock to run out so that I could just die, right? Or that it could change and I could go do something else. But I felt like my story was over and that me still being around even felt as pointless as running Mario through all of this unprogrammed emptiness in the game. That I was there by some sort of accident, that this was not what was intended to happen, and that I didn't have a direction to go, that I was where I wasn't supposed to be. So I can imagine, maybe this is how you feel right now, right? A lot of what we've depended on is gone. Just today, I'm reading in an article in our local news here in West Hollywood just about how so many businesses here, like the nightlife and everything, a lot of bars, a lot of restaurants, like nobody knows if it's going to come back. People are already talking about how are we going to change our lifestyle. So many things that have been ingrained in, I know, my daily life and probably in yours are just not there any longer. So that's how I felt. That's how I felt at the time. I felt like I was still around by mistake, that I had wandered into an unprogrammed area of life. What did I do? I decided that what I wanted was to feel happy, right? I didn't feel happy, but I wanted to feel happy. So I started writing down a list of all the things that made me happy. And it included, various activities. I was going for a run. It included like TV shows that I really liked at the time. It included, the people that I enjoyed talking to, the people who I was still talking to that I felt good to be talking to. And as I wrote out this whole list of things that made me happy, I started to realize how many of them I had not been indulging before, how many of these things I had put on the back burner or put aside because they weren't involved in helping me get forward in a job that really took a lot of my time, really all my time. They weren't things that I equated with immediately making money. They were things that I figured I could get to later, or just, I didn't prioritize my own happiness is really what I'm getting to. So, all of these things are connected with passion, right? Actually, before I talk about passion, let's talk about the word why first. So Simon Sinek wrote this book called Start With Why. And if you haven't read it, I highly recommend that you do. I will, he's got an amazing TED Talks on YouTube. I'll put a link here in the comments. But what it talks about is the difference between a company or a mission or person that's focused on sort of like what they do as opposed to why they do it. And I guess the lasting example that has always stuck with me out of his book is sort of the difference between Dell computers and Apple computers. We all know Dell makes computers, and we probably had one or used one somewhere. Maybe we've seen it in an office, right? And if I come to you and I'm like, oh, you have a Dell? You'd be like, maybe, who cares, right? It's a computer. It's functional. It does what it does. But that's just what it is, right? Apple, on the other hand, is more than just a computer, right? I used to be an Apple person myself, and sometimes, I have an Android phone now, and when I talk to my friends who have Apple phones, and maybe this is you as well, if I text them, they're like, oh, I know you don't have one because you got the green message, right? What is that behind saying that there is a green message and a blue message, right? There is a cachet to being an Apple user, to having an Apple, a computer, an iPhone, whatever, right? There is something more to the Apple brand than just making computers. Even though both Apple and Dell make computers, there's something else. There's something really personally connected with having an Apple. And it has to do with their mission. It has to do with why they make the computers that they do. It has to do with, the original mission of wanting people, everybody, to have access to computing back when it wasn't super easy, right? The first Macs, the first Apples were like revolutionary computers, and that they were simple and user friendly. But that mission behind it, that why behind the Apples, is what drives the success of this company still to this day, right? There's something more than just what we do, making computers, why we do it, because we want people to be connected. We want people to have access to this. So this is what I'm talking about with your why, right? What you do, maybe what you have been doing for work or just in life until now. But why, what you want to do with the real strong why behind it, that is your passion. A lot of people, don't really get into their passion in our modern society and modern days. In our society, if you're considered a dreamer or someone who's following their passions, usually we're saying that as a negative. We're saying that as somebody who's got their head in the clouds, they're not paying attention, they're not grounded, and they are going to fail in life generally, right? That is generally how our society, at least American society, is really geared. So people tend not to get into their passions until they are rich, which may never happen, or retired, which sometimes also not happen, right? We don't know how much time we've got left. So retirement is not guaranteed at all. and certainly monetarily, right? That's very difficult. So a lot of the time, right, like the only people who really dig into their passions are the people who have the time and the money to do it. So when but now we do have time, right? We kind of have a weird gift at this moment, to be able to take a look deep inside, to take this time that has been given to all of us in one way, shape, or form, in the form of these lockdowns, these quarantines, and to take a look. What is it inside of you that, if you had all the time and the money in the world, that you would do, that you would spend your time doing? That's your passion. That's your passion. So it's easier to do this now, right? You don't have to worry about being called a dreamer. You don't have to be worried about being considered disconnected or not plugged into the system right now, because the system, as we know, is a little broken at the moment, and we don't know what it's going to be. So this is the gift that you have right now. So to go take a look. What are you passionate about? Passion also, tends to come from some pain. It tends to come from the past within. And that's why it's also very difficult for a lot of people to really dig into what your passion is, because it does require looking inside. It requires looking inside yourself a little bit. And that can be really uncomfortable, especially if you've never done it before. Now, if you are a true abundance hacker, and you understand, the concept that there are alternate possibilities, and being able to see other opportunities that are right in front of you this whole time, then this is going to be easier for you to do. If you are just getting into the idea of being an abundance hacker, and you've been in a lane for a long time, and you've worked really hard to be in that lane for a long time because your survival depended on it. And I completely understand that. This is going to be a little more difficult for you to do, but you can still do it. And it's still really important that you do it as well. So take a look, think back, right? A passion is usually about something that you wanted to solve or achieve or get for yourself. Like for me, I am passionate about helping individuals and businesses and nonprofits to grow their businesses online and to make, and create income streams online, whether it's fundraising or selling products or selling services or information, because, I had a series of really, really unpleasant employment situations. And I didn't want to be stuck in all of that. I wanted to find a way for me to not be dependent on basically being a slave to these employers, right? To be stuck in these situations that were not making me happy just for the sake of making me money. That was a pain for me, a big pain for me. And I have solved that problem for myself by creating systems, by creating a business, by using the tools of the internet to be able to create a business for myself, so that I could have time to do what it was that I wanted to during the day, so that I could build my life, so that I could plan for my own future, so I could take my life into my own hands. So that's a passion. That's something that I wanted to solve for myself. And because of that, I'm very, very excited and eager and passionate about helping other people do the same, about bringing this to other people. So take a look. What are the problems in your life that you have solved? What are things that you didn't have in your life that you found a way to get, and it made your life better? It made you happier, right? It made you happier. That is your passion, right? And not only is that something that you can turn around right now, it's like, if you're just looking to turn a quick buck in this whole situation, and you just want to pick up some program and start selling it, or some product and start selling it, then you're back into that what territory that we were talking about, the Dell versus Apple situation, right? If you're just trying to make some money, whatever, you don't believe in what it is that you're doing, then you're in a what situation. You're on the Dell side, right? But if you are doing something that is connected with your passion, if you are trying to help other people to overcome a pain that you've encountered yourself, that is something that was really deep and personal for you, then that brings a why behind it that can really get people connected to it. So think about this. In this day right now, we have a lot of time, right? We have a lot of time. It's not like we're running around to all kinds of social events. It's not like we're spending all day in an office any longer, because we're not. This is a gift, an opportunity to take a look into your passion and to find your why. And I guarantee you, I say the G word with all seriousness here. I guarantee you, if you are feeling lost right now, if you are feeling depressed in this whole situation, if you're feeling disconnected, and especially if you're feeling uncertain about the future, which I'm sure that you are, God knows I am, right, in many ways. Getting back connected with that passion, finding that passion is going to help you pick yourself up and move forward. It's going to change your total outlook on this whole situation from bleak, death, scarcity into opportunity, possibility, abundance. You could stop being little Mario, running through unprogrammed endlessness, waiting for the clock to run out, and instead take this time to become the person that maybe you've always wanted to be, maybe that you never knew you could be, and to really to become this, to be born anew like that. So tell me what it is that you're passionate about. Tell me what you're thinking about. I would love to hear what you come up with. I would love to hear what you're thinking. Join our group on Facebook to share. We've got an awesome community building there. That's the Abundance Hackers group on Facebook. Just search Abundance Hackers on Facebook. You'll find us. Or here's another thing too, is I wrote an ebook about exactly this. It's called How to Unlock and Unleash Your Superpower, right? Your passion is your superpower. That's really what it is, right? This is just a roundabout way of getting there for people who don't get it. But I know you do, because you're watching this right now. Download your free copy of it. Check it out. It'll guide you through your journey. I'll tell you how I did it, a lot of personal stories, a lot of how I got past a lot of stuff, especially the mental blocks to figuring it out. You can get that at owenjward.com right now. Just give me your email address, tell me where to send it, and I will send you your free copy right now. Lots of people tell me that they really enjoyed it and really helped them too, and I had a great time writing it. So I hope that you'll do that. So join the Abundance Hackers group on Facebook. Go to owenjward.com, download your free copy of How to Unlock and Unleash Your Superpower, and tell me what you're passionate about. I would love to hear it. It makes me really happy when I hear stories of people who get connected and really get on that track. So thank you for being with me today. Again, I hope that you I hope you find your happiness and your passion in this time. I hope this becomes a time of amazing growth for you, as it is for me. And I will talk to you again really, really soon.